Last year's severe drought caused big problems for Kiwi farmers, and this year extreme dry conditions have been causing concern in parts of the North Island.
Some scientists say climate change means the drought situation will only get worse around the world. However, new research could help us predict where droughts will occur and what impact they'll have. AUT science professor Steve Pointing is here to tell us all about it. Hi there, Steve.
Good morning.
Now, this is termed a global multi-model experiment. In simple terms, tell us how it could help us predict droughts.
Sure, yeah, I mean, scientists love their acronyms, so yes, this work is full of that. Essentially, most modelling for predicting future climate change has centred either on temperature rises or on hydrology, but there's not been until now an explicit consideration of drought. And drought's very difficult to predict because it has so many variables that lead to it. So this work used 5 mathematical models to predict and give confidence levels to whether or not drought would actually increase or decrease in a given area.
Where is going to be worst affected?
Well, there are hotspots that were identified, and some of those are obvious. So, for example, the Middle East and the southern United States and Western Australia. And in those areas, predictions are that there'll be a 20% or more increase in drought over the next 50 years. But rather worryingly, New Zealand's also on the radar with a 90% chance that we will experience greater drought over the next 50 years.
Does this modelling suggest, though, that we can better prepare for drought?
In a way, yes. I think the modelling gives us information to make a best guess as to what might happen in the future. What it doesn't do, of course, is tell us how to mitigate or make good the problems of drought, and that's going to require much more interface with users, such as the farmers, in the future.
OK, new research has also shown that the human diet indicates that humans aren't the apex predators we thought we were.
Yeah, this is a very interesting story, again, just released this week. We have a concept in ecology called the food web, where essentially plants occupy the lowest level, and then herbivores, which eat plants, occupy the next level, and then finally at the top you have these so-called apex predators like lions and sharks. Now, surprisingly, no one's looked at where humans sit in this, and this study suggests that after rather rigorous analysis that we occupy about the same position as an anchovy in the food web, which I take great offence to that. I don't feel I'm very closely related to an anchovy. But this is a good example. I wanted to raise it because it highlights controversy in science. This study shows that we have that particular position in the food web, but actually what the study doesn't consider is the impact that humans have on the ecosystem. And when you take that into account, of course, we are very much like an apex predator. Consider a fishing trawler, for example. You know, it takes a lot of fish relative to the number of humans involved. So that's really a limitation.
Just getting a bit on the last topic, brain research and memories. What's the latest and quite unusual findings, I gather, about the brain?
This is a great study. It's Brain Awareness Week this week, so this was why I picked this topic. Great study from Sweden where, for the first time, scientists have been able to make a direct link between body experience and retention of memory. And the way they did this was by taking about 80 subjects and fitting them with 3D goggles, and to some of the subjects they saw an interviewer under normal one-to-one scenario, and for other subjects there was an image projected of themselves talking to the interviewer such that they saw it almost like a TV screen. And what transpired was that those subjects that saw the image of themselves interacting with the interviewer, who was, by all accounts, a very eccentric professor, was actually an actor employed to act in a way that would encourage memory retention, these people who saw it in the third person actually had significantly lower memory retention. And this was confirmed by MRI scans to show that actually their brains were functioning differently and couldn't retain memory as well as if they'd experienced it in the first person.
Amazing.
Fascinating.
Steve Pointing, thank you for coming in this morning.
My pleasure.